Paltrocast.
Rhino, thank you for taking the time today. How's your day going aside from talking to wrestling media people?
Great, great. Just get ready to go to the gym right after this. What's your shirt say?
The Beach Boys. I mean, America's
Nice.
band, right?
Yes, that they are. That they are. What was their last hit? What year?
The last real hit or the
Real,
last technical hit?
real hit, technical hit. Yeah.
The real hit, I would say, was probably the Fat Boys, Wipeout, or Kokomo.
No, other than that, yeah.
But then every time, when you're a classic rock artist, you do this thing where you go, it's the number one most added track on blank radio. You always have that technicality. I
Okay.
guess it's like winning indie wrestling championships.
Yeah. So I'd say what was it Kokomo in 88 or 89?
88, 89, one of those two with the Cocktail movie with Tom Cruise, right?
Yes. Yeah, what a great song too.
Yeah, when you see the Beach Boys live these days, every song was a tremendous hit. Beach Boys aside, lots coming up in Impact and TNA. I think I just got a press release 10 minutes ago about Louisiana's coming up. When did you find
Yep.
out about that one?
I haven't. I'm
That's the
glad you
best
told me.
thing I'm going to
Yeah.
hear all day. So there's
Right.
Orlando, Toronto, New Orleans. They're keeping you pretty busy.
Yeah. You know what? And and I love the buildings that they run and stuff like that because some of them are ECW buildings,
Sure.
and when you walk in there, it kind of brings you back to you know back 20 years ago, and when you were youthful and just cutting your teeth in the wrestling business, and so. But yeah, I just but there's also a comfortability. You feel a little more comfortable, the way around and all that stuff, and it brings up good memories.
Right. Now, you rejoined Impact 4 years ago. When you rejoined Impact, did you know that it was going to be a long-term thing like this?
um yes and no. So because it was a fit. And and the first time I was with Impact, I was there like 6 years. So usually my run in a place is 4 to 6 years. So so it could be another 2 years, it could be another 6 months. You never know. You never know. But I just always enjoy and do my best and put my best foot forward and try to help others out. Because when I was coming up, that you had guys doing that. You had The Rock and Austin and Triple H and all those guys, and you'd see, you know, how they would do it, and even other guys like the Hardys. When I'd work with the Hardys with Edge and Christian, and and then even in ECW, you'd see guys like Sabu and Taz, and
Right.
they wouldn't just go, and they would make it make sense, and you have to. And Sandman, working with him, I remember the first time I went over on him, and it was just like, and a lot of that. So, and then coming back to Impact, you still got that same fun atmosphere. It's like, okay, let's try to help out other people.
Yeah, you kind of break all the statistics and the rules with all this kind of stuff. Because you know how when they're talking about football players, they say the average NFL career is 2 years, that kind of a thing. In your
Oh,
case, you and your televised wrestling, there were a couple of years when you were on the indies in the 2000s and the 2010s, but I think you've been contracted and on television over 25 years. Am I wrong about that?
since '99, yeah.
Yeah,
So there was right after Impact the first time I was off, January, yeah, January of 2011. I finished up, and then I was let go because of budget cuts,
sure.
and it is what it is. And then they asked me to stick around for a couple months after that, to work with Van Dam. And I started with Ring of Honor, I want to say about 9 or 10 months after that. And I do their TVs. And then I was there with them for about 2.5 years. And then I was off for like 6 months maybe. And then I did stuff with Impact 2014. And then I was off because I had booked some indie shows
Mhm.
up in Newfoundland, and they had called me to do the shows in September. Bob Ryder, a great guy,
Yeah.
um, God rest his soul. But I told him, I go, hey, I'm booked. It's only a week and a half out, and that's when I was doing stuff with EC3. And then I called the promoter up there. He goes, oh, you're calling to cancel? I go, no, I told them. And I made half the amount going up north. And but he had all of his flyers out in the towns and all that stuff. So I couldn't turn my back on him. So then they had Tyrus come in, which I think he's a great talent.
Mhm.
And anyways, and kind of do that with EC3, kind of like his bodyguard and all that. So, and then in January of 2015, Mark Carano called me from WWE, and the February, that's when I started with NXT. So, like you said, I've been pretty blessed to be on, national TV for, over 20 years. So almost 25 years.
Yeah, where I'm going with all that is when we think about the greatest television stars of all time, if we think about Lucy from I Love Lucy, that's a random one. Rhino probably has 10 times the amount of TV hours than Lucy did.
Yeah. And 100 times less money she ever made.
Well, I mean, she and her husband invented syndication, so what can you do?
Yeah, yeah. What's crazy is I went to I never really got into I Love Lucy as a kid. You see all the reruns. I liked it, but I don't think I got the humor or whatever, right? And I thought it was a good show and everything. But I went to the museum they have. I think it's in Johnstown.
Oh, way upstate New York, the Comedy
Yeah,
Museum?
yeah, it's a comedy museum and all that stuff. It's the town she's from, and but what show I really like and I watched as a kid is Leave It to Beaver. You ever watch that?
Yes. They've tried once or twice to make it a movie, and it didn't cross over, but
Right.
legendary show.
Yeah, I watched the movie and stuff, and I found out they're from Mayfield, Ohio, because
Mhm.
there's a big. Is it Wisconsin or is it Ohio? But it's not Steubenville, Ohio. It's something maybe it's Steubenville that Ward Cleaver's from. They
Mhm.
make some mentions of certain towns, and they be there, because they never specifically said what state,
Right.
And obviously they filmed out in California, and but that ran from 57 to 63. So, but yeah, I like to go back and watch some shows too as an adult, and it's great that you can stream stuff. But it's funny how you said I Love Lucy, and yeah, so
And The Simpsons do that too, where you don't know
oh
what
yeah,
town Springfield is in all these years later, which is
yeah,
kind of a good deal. But hey, back to you here. I mean, the wrestling stuff is fascinating. Your political stuff is fascinating. Big Daddy's Boatyard, that's fascinating. There's a lot of things going on with you. So are all the slips for the Boatyard sold for this coming spring and summer?
well, usually what we do is we send out the notice, and we require a deposit, and that's due by the 15th of December. So we only ask for $150, which is refundable, if it's before a certain date, and then the balance has to be paid March 15th.
Oh,
So
wow.
the balance, the deposit usually gives me an idea what docks are going to be open, and then the deposit guarantees you that slip you had last year.
Got it.
So
So
hopefully, so the last year we had two 25-foot docks that were open, but the 2 years prior to that we were sold out. So, but yeah, so
so
yeah, it's definitely there's always something to do, and so but it's one of those things where I definitely enjoy it and love it.
the last political campaign I'm aware of from you was 2020. Is there another one in the future?
You know what? I don't know. Everybody says, "Oh, I don't know," and they do know. It's like I thought about running for a trustee again, but this time, it's not COVID. You could go knock on doors and all that stuff. And 4 years have been behind us, and I have a wrestling promotion here in Monroe with my buddy, and so we got a lot of steam with that, and we do about 10 shows a year, and we
Mhm.
put about 400 to 500 people in the building. It's a smaller venue. And so a lot of people really appreciate that, because when you're a kid and you go to the wrestling shows, I see, 65, 70-year-old men that'll talk to me when they find out I wrestle, that haven't watched it since Bobo Brazil and the
Right.
Sheik and those guys. And they go, I used to go down to Kobo, or I used to go down to the, I can't remember where the Wings used to play. But they talk about it as if they were a child again, and their dad would take them, their uncle would take them, their grandfather would take them, and they're reliving that, and they've got built-in memory, a built-in memory of them spending time with their family that has lived, for 50, 60 years, and that's what we're doing there, because I'll call up my buddy, and I'll look after payroll and everything, and it's like, and then after taxes on that, if you take out taxes on that, you're like, we made $700. We made, which is good, but you think, is it worth it? And then when you see the kids come up to you and go, hey, can I have your autograph? And they're with their parents and they're like, we never miss a show. Because we've had everybody from Heath to Big Con to Rowan to Billy Gunn, and where else can you see these guys and an intimate setting, and actually meet them, with the meet and greets and stuff. So
Right. There's
but
nowhere else aside from those weird LaGuardia Airport Hotel ones here in New York. Other than that, the weird big event LaGuardia Airport Hotel ones. Not a lot of opportunities. You're right to meet some of your favorite TV stars.
Right.
So wrapping it up here, we are going to see you on the next Impact live event, which I believe is Hard to Kill.
Yep.
So we'll see you there. We'll see you on the first TNA event, which is in Orlando.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So is there anything that we haven't covered besides Rhino being one of the smartest wrestlers that you don't realize is one of the smartest wrestlers of all time?
Usually I have to pay someone to say that. No, I think that's about it. Just I think if I could tell anybody that's coming up in the business or wanting to get in the business, and this goes with other things too in life, if you just keep getting up, working towards your goal, and and just keep going forward, and you're going to succeed. You'll fail a lot along the way, but just brush it off, keep moving forward. And it's just moderation in anything. So like if you drink, just one or two beers. Don't drink it all the time. And it's funny because in the wintertime I'll smoke a pipe, regular tobacco, but it might be once or twice a month. Nothing other than regular tobacco. But if I do it twice a day, then that could be a problem. But that's only like in the fall and in the wintertime, but not in the summer, or spring. So around the boatyard. So
everything in moderation except great Impact and TNA content.
Bingo. And listening to the Beach Boys.
Paltrocast.